Alright. We on the air. Alright.
Dave gonna join?
No, I got nothing from him. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the Misfits Racing League Sit-Down Talk Show. Yes, we are episode 9, week number 8. It is going by quick. I am joined by my truck broadcasting partner, Cowboy Watson.
Good evening, folks.
And we are joined by the Truck Series Eldora winner, Rolling Duck. How you doing, bud?
Hold on, guys. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
For sure.
Pleasure.
Absolutely. It is always a good pleasure to have you on the air, man. And I tell you, we got a lot to cover, Justin. It is a very, very interesting week. So, this past week, we had a dirt week, except for Xfinity, but dirt was in Bristol, Tennessee, and then we went to Ohio, and it was dirty there. Boy, did you come out of last week with redemption.
Well, not only that, I think with GU missing Michigan, he felt like he needed to try to keep, the points within, the points battle within reach. And I believe now it's very bunched up.
Hold on 1 second. Let me invite Gar because apparently he's now available. Come on, dude. Alright, let's get him in here. Give us a second, folks. Give us 1 second. Where is Gar? There you go. Let me... Yeah, GU had a very fast race car that night. I tell you what, he showed the muscle, and I tell you, he wants to redeem himself after missing Michigan, because you gotta realize that was a home track for him.
I think in general we're starting to see, the Michigan boys in general, they're just so bunched up. But the question is who can beat the 11-5, because they're the only two that have been winning the Cup races this season.
Absolutely, and there is one of the Michigan boys of Gar. Welcome to the show, please. I hope you realize really quick, make sure your voice is set to loud so we can the audience can hear you. But yeah, I mean, you gotta realize, Gar again was one of the fastest compares at Bristol Dirt. Even in practice, we saw it happen. And Gar, going into tomorrow night, what do you expect to see as a driver going into Watkins Glen?
Probably the three Michigan boys be up front again, like normal.
There's possibilities of it, but you gotta also realize, there's other competitors. You got, as of right now, signups did just get posted. You got Michael, who could be a competitor. You also got Reb. If RKM signs up, he's really fast on the road course, gentlemen. I tell you, we gotta realize there's other drivers who could also probably steal the thunder.
Well, anybody can steal the thunder at any given race.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And so, it was, but yeah, it was a really, really expectations. And, Cup was, and you gotta realize also this, RKM set the pole with a 16.937, and we had one caution. Fastest lap did go to RKM, where he beat his old record. He set a new fast record of a 16.837, being again his old record of a 16.862. Your top 5 that night was GU, Gar, Piff, Turnover, and Corolla. Tomorrow night, us Cup guys will be heading over to upstate New York and going left, going right, going uphill, downhill in Watkins Glen International.
There's no uphills and downhills there. That's just a very fast road course.
It's a very great. I love the road course at Watkins Glen. I think it's going to be a fun time, ladies and gentlemen. Justin, the Xfinity Series, Not Michigan. It was at Kentucky. Yeah, that was a dominating performance by Fullpool, my guy.
Fullpool, to be honest with you, I have seen the speed out of that young man all season long, especially when it comes to the mile and a half tracks. And Matty kind of keeps touching up on him, from time to time here on the weekly talk shows about him. And to be honest, we start talking about, JPR needs these many points. Yeah, I'm starting to think that we might start seeing that Xfinity Championship come down to those two gentlemen.
I think so, and as a former competitor in Xfinity, Duck, I mean, can anyone stop this guy either in trucks or Xfinity? Can anyone stop him?
JPR, I feel like he would be the one to beat him. JPR and I are good buddies on and off the track. We're PA relatives, and I think he'd be the guy to put the fight to him.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, we had a car count of 15 guys. We'll pull your polls there with a 31-103. Your top five.
It was the full pool show all night long. To be honest with you, Nick.
Yes, it was the full pool. Stage 1, Stage 2, fastest lap, your winner. And he did hit a 31.055. Your top 5 that night was Full Pool, Keystone, JPR, Zios, and Piff. Next race on Wednesday, catch the action at the most famous track of all of motorsports, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, it is historical. It is historical. And really, also, we went to Eldora, which the second Eldora Derby belonged to our very own Rolling Duck. I mean, Duck, you had a very fast car that night. You almost got to him in the first 2 stages, and then that third and final stage, you thought, all right, it's go time.
It took us fast all night. It was just trying to get clean air. If you got stuck back in dirty air, you couldn't really do much, and the bottom was the fastest way around the track. So, get clean air, you were going to set sail like Carl did the first 2 stages. I tried to get to him. I was inside of him, but I just couldn't make the pass. And he could rule the top a little better than everyone else could. So that third stage started, I knew I had to get him. If not, he was going to drive away again. And when I got to his inside and I cleared him, and Jamie filled the hole, that's what really helped me get away, was when Jamie filled the hole, and then everyone was kind of just shuffling him back, and he was stuck on the outside by himself then.
Absolutely, and Justin, we saw that the whole time, and then you gotta realize Stage 1 and 2 was the Corolla and Rolling show in the first 2, because they finished 1 and 2.
It was basically the 18 versus 21 like we saw at Darlington, mostly all race at Eldora.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I think, with that being with a car count of, I think it was, 14 or 15 guys, and that was a very good field, if you ask me. It was, I think, as a broadcasting perspective, I thought that was the most funnest Eldora race that we've ever had, if you ask me there, Justin.
I think, not only that, a lot of the competitors in general were really... I think they were all content with how they finished. I think they all had a lot of fun because, they were able to loosen it up in the group chat afterwards and just try to bounce it off of each other and just had fun with it, but with the Indianapolis Roval coming up this week and a new track for the Truck Series, it's going to be interesting because it's a very narrow track.
Absolutely, and I was about to get to that right there. I was going to say, we are making some history in the Misfits Racing League here, the Truck Series, heading to a track that we've put off ever since the track ever got into the game. It was Justin just pointed out, the Indianapolis Roval. Yes, I'm not hallucinating. You heard me right. The Indianapolis Roval. And I tell you, it is going to be historical. And I tell you what, Justin's Turnover says hi, hello Turnover and Corolla in the chat. And I tell you what, Justin, this is history in the making, if you ask me.
I think it's history in the making in general, just from a league standpoint. there's going to be there'll be a few heavy hitters on that track, but we could see some surprises as well as we're getting ready to get closer towards the playoffs in a couple weeks.
Oh, and absolutely. And you got to realize in Xfinity and trucks, next week is the last race before playoff time. And I tell you what, if you're someone below that cutoff in trucks, like we will get to the points right now, Rogue has got a 6-point buffer over Speedway. And I think Speedway needs to step up these next 2 weeks.
Got to step up and get some stage points and get top 10s. Gonna have to really, not only that, you also have to figure out into the equation of possible dashes these next 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
That could also help Speedway in case Rogue misses a race.
Absolutely.
You never know. You never know, especially with the trucks being an open series, that we do tend to have dashes from time to time. And what if we have a dash, in one of those 2 races, and Rogue ends up missing a race? It could literally come down to that.
He could either miss He could either miss Indy Roval, or he could miss next week at the Indy Oval, and that could be that's the big what if scenarios.
It's the big what if scenarios at this point. It absolutely is.
Right, absolutely. And looking at this really quick, your Heat 1 top 3 belong to Jamie, Turnover and Rolling. Then Heat 2 belong to Corolla, Piff and Reb, and then your pole winner, Corolla, who took the pole with a 19.302. Then he took stage 1 and 2. And then again, Rolling took second in stage 1 and 2. Then Reb finished third in stage 1. Stage 2 was Jamie. And then Duck took the victory. Duck did get the fastest lap with a 19.215. Your top 5, we interviewed them on Thursday. It was none other than Rolling Duck, Corolla, Jamie, and Dave and Reb. Your top 5. Again, history is about to be made this Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. We are heading to Indianapolis Roval. I am not hallucinating. I am just telling you, be prepared, because this may be one bumpy ride, ladies and gentlemen. And so, I'm just saying, Justin, it is going to be the most fun I think we've ever seen in a Misfits race.
I don't know about fun. We might see a lot of aggravation, though, with that course.
I mean, I almost called you Watson. Oh, my goodness, I can't think of it. Rolling, as a driver, are you prepared for this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good on the road courses, so to come to a road course, like in the Indy Oval, it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be a lot of beating and bang, I feel like, going into turn 1, so hopefully no one does bomb someone like crazy, so it's just, it's about hitting your marks and just being smooth through the gears and just go lap by lap.
Well, not only that, Doug, the last couple of races, it seems like since Bristol, you've been kind of in a groove, and especially the last 2 weeks picking up playoff points. Do you feel like you're getting hot at the right time in hopes of making a playoff run?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, with the past couple finishes I've had with the win last week and the couple second-place finishes up to Corolla, I mean, I feel like we are getting hot at the right time, so it's just about putting the pieces at the right spot and just go race by race till the playoff comes, and once the playoffs get here, just hammer down.
Well, not only that, I remember before the season started that when I told you I had been that me and Nick were going to be in the booth, I was originally going to be in that 18 truck, and I talked you, basically right into it. How do you feel? Do you feel now? Do you feel better now with like getting back into the truck and being able to race and have fun again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a really very, very fun group to be a part of, so I am very proud to be in the Misfits Racing League. This is one of the best leagues out there, so to be...
Well, not only that, I can't remember who said it as well, but we had somebody say as well recently that with the truck series, it's wide open. You've got 12 guys that could basically win any race, week in and week out right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an open it's an open field for everyone.
Well, yeah, it definitely is, and we've got a great mix of playoff tracks coming up. With Texas and Richmond in the round of 12, and we have Dover and Talladega in the round of 8 before we get to Atlanta for the championships. Do you feel like you can get into a groove with some of those tracks, especially with Dover being a home track for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's like I said before, it's just about getting hot at the right time and just putting the pieces where they're supposed to go and just go forward race by race and just every position counts, every stage counts, every lap counts. You just got to hit your marks every lap, every race.
Absolutely.
And Justin, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you the same thing Thursday, and you could call me crazy, but do you think we're going to have a first-time winner at the Indianapolis Roval? Because I think we're going to have a first-time winner.
It's possible.
Because
it's possible.
We've seen this before. I know we haven't done this race before, but we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to cover this as well, folks, on Thursday as well. We're going to see a lot of people get course penalties and stuff like that. If you hit the grass at a slight, even a blade of it, you get penalized. You get penalized.
Yeah, like I said, it's a very narrow course, and there's. We had the issue with corner cutting at Road America. It's very easily to end up getting in trouble at this course with a simple corner cut. I barely touched the grass in one corner as I was trying to go through a little chicane, and just that little touch of a tire on the grass, and it'll hit you with a course penalty. So yes,
Absolutely.
Trucks is going to be very interesting on Thursday night. But speaking of road courses, we've got Cup tomorrow night at Watkins Glen and Gar. With the way that yours consistency has been this season, do you feel like you can get a win somewhere sooner or later?
I do feel like it. But again, last season, Xfinity I didn't win, and I was very consistent. And I'm so close this season, but you never know.
Absolutely, and like you stated a couple weeks ago at Michigan, you tried a different strategy in hopes of winning and just kind of fell a tad short. But it's all about just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and you're having a great season in Cup. I really look forward to seeing you possibly grabbing that first Cup win sooner or later. Do you feel there's a place on the schedule? Whether it be at Watkins Glen or Pocono or somewhere down the line where you could possibly get that win?
I feel like there's possibly 3 to 4 races I could show up and get my first win of the season.
I think I could even vouch for him. He has been good. You got to realize this as well, Justin. He started mid-season last season, and Gar was always in my streams saying, "Nick, get a hold of Maddie, get a hold of Dave. I know Dave, I know GU, I know Corolla. Get me in here." I was like, okay, good luck with that. And then moments later, he's in. I'm like,
Well, here's the thing, though. I've watched the races from your streams on Tuesday night, and I've been impressed with how Gar has run overall. He's been up at the front in some of these races. It's just a matter of getting it together, and I think just trying to outsmart the other two Michigan boys, in my opinion, because they're all right there at the top of the heap in points.
Absolutely, I agree, and I tell you, it is going to be. Yes, he is turnover. He is fast, and I tell you, again, we are getting closer and closer towards season's end, and I tell you, like I said, Xfinity and Truck. You have to buckle on down and get yourself some stage points, and I tell you, now is not the time to mess around, because right now, next week, you gotta be on your A game come playoff time in 2 weeks.
Well, for the Trucks guys, it's crucial for them these next 2 weeks. It's a little different for Xfinity as far as the playoff, the playoff picture goes. It's, the requirements there is a bit different compared to trucks. But for these truck guys, let's go over those points, Nick, and let everybody know how they stand as far, and not only that, the playoff points as well, as we're getting closer and closer to Texas.
Absolutely, and I'm telling you, I gotta get to it. Why? I had it on my phone. Dirt. Really? I thought I had dirt points on my phone just now. Well, that's kind of sad. Where did Dave put those points?
I have them right in front of us, Nick. Right in front of me, Nick.
Go ahead then. I was gonna say.
Well, as it's been most of the season, it's been the Corolla and Full Pool shoe in the truck series. Corolla leads with a 402. We got Full Pool at 382. Piff in a distant third at 332. Reb at 328. Dave in fifth at 324. Rolling with at 315, but Rolling has moved up the point standings the last couple of weeks from being right there at the cusp of the point bubble to having a big Eldora and putting himself right in the playoffs. So Rolling all the way up to sixth. You got JPR in seventh at 303. You've got the Turnover King in eighth at 284. Fula, who missed Eldora, goes from third to ninth, sits at 283. Yeah, that hurt. Missing the double points race has really hurt Fula there. Jamie at 283, at 280, I apologize. Maddie in 11th at 262. Rogue at 239, and Speedway at 233. Like you said, a 6-point difference between Rogue and Speedway for that last playoff spot at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, like we said, I think what Speedway needs to do is say, hey, Rogue, miss next week, and, I'll take that playoff point. I'll take that last place.
I'll take that playoff spot away if you don't mind,
Exactly.
But like I said, it's all going to come down to the point of if we have a dash in any of these last two races.
Exactly.
It could come down to just that.
And you also go realize the biggest mover in the points, you mentioned Fula from third to ninth, and a big move from, you got Rolling, who is now ninth in the standings, now moved him to sixth. And you also got to realize, this is putting this is putting Rolling in the third seed. And remember, guys, next week we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, once we get everything sorted for the playoffs. Everyone's going to get reseeded, once the playoffs get here.
And right now, with the playoff seedings as well, you've got Corolla with 12 playoff points and Full Pool with 7. Not only that, Jamie and Rolling both have 3 playoff points now. So, like I said, Rolling has picked up a couple playoff points these last couple weeks. Jamie's has held hold to those 3 playoff points from Daytona. Not only that, Fulla's got a couple playoff points. JPR's got a playoff point. Maddie's got a playoff point.
And then you got to realize, 8th on back.
And 8th on back. Like I said, it could be a crapshoot to get to Dover.
It could be. And you got to realize this, too. I believe once we reseed, since Jamie and Rolling are tied, if this was going into the last race in the regular season, I want to take a wild guess, and Dave can fill us in if this is going to be correct or not. But I believe this is going to put Duck maybe in third in not in the standings, in the seeding due to a win, and Jamie not having a win. So I could be wrong.
It doesn't. I don't think it really matters with the reseeding, Nick, as far as who's got to win and who doesn't. It's basically going to come down to race execution in these playoffs.
Absolutely, and we talked to Piff, I think pre-racers, I think I talked to Piff, and he's like, man, I've wanted to win here so badly. I want to win here at Eldora. He's been close, though, and I tell you, he needs to get a win, because right now he is sitting third in the standings, but right now in the seeding, he is one of those guys who has 0 playoff points, and I tell you, either next week or next week, he's gonna get a playoff point. I promise you. He would like to be the guy saying, "Hey, I have a playoff point. Thank God, I got something."
Well, definitely for some of those guys that are former truck champions in the series, they kind of want to make their themselves noticed.
Absolutely, and that is something we gotta keep our eye on. And yet, again, from 14th to 23rd, those guys really don't have a chance. It's like, back in 2022 where NASCAR had, where it was a battle between Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. for that last playoff spot. That's where it looks like, if you ask me. So
I think right now at this point it could come down to who makes races. You got to show up for your races here.
You do
in the truck series. Got to show up for the trucks. You got to show up.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. And yet, this could be a game changer this whole next couple weeks. But yes, it is going to be history in the making. The Printaholics Truck Series will be heading to the Indianapolis Roval, ladies and gentlemen. That will be on Thursday night. Stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for Wednesday night at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the Beneath the Oaks Xfinity Series will be taking place, and your truck, well, not me, your other truck broadcaster will be racing that night. Hopefully we could see a colleague, he could get a top 5 or top 10.
Well, after how my Kentucky race went, I'm just looking to bounce back.
All right. Since we got all the important stuff, we got a couple, well, I was going to say, here's another segment we're going to bring in here as well. I talked to the admins as well. I pointed this out. I said, why don't we do some segments? And then here's a segment for y'all. And we did talk about our favorite moments from the league, and here you go. We talked about, and as audiences, is if you want to come in and talk about your favorite moment or memory in the league, please let us know. We'll read it out, or, if you want to be part of the talk show and say, hey, I remember when this happened or when that happened, we're all open ears. And me and Cowboy Watson and Dave have talked about ours. Rolling, you got any favorite memories or anything that you remember that you would like to share with the audience?
I mean, I don't know, it was my 4th or 5th start, or my 1st. I don't know what start it was, but it was in Cup, and I think Jamie knows where we're going with this story. And I somehow got stuck in the back of the pack, and I was coming to the field pretty hot, and through the chicane for like the last turn, our braking points were completely different, and I just drove through them by accident. I did not mean to plow through them. I felt so bad wiping them out. I felt so bad. I went on to win the race too, but I just felt bad taking him out. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be good. And after the race, he was pretty upset with me, and I apologized to him. And I think we're pretty okay now. I mean, we laugh about it, so that's my best memory from this group.
What about you, Gar? Since this is your second season, you got any memory so far?
Other than finishing top 3 behind Michigan boys, probably not.
Because that's all he said. Because that's all he's had to deal with so far.
Exactly. That's, I guess you could say, his favorite memory. So, oh boy. But really quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got some.
But like I said, I do think Gar, with the talent that he's got, I think he's gonna hit victory lane sooner or later. I really do.
I think he's got it in the tank sooner than expected. I mean, I'm hoping to get my Cup win. I mean, that's exactly where I'm hoping too. But we have some good breaking news. We got word from Maddie. Yes, the league owner himself just messaged. Well, not really messaged. We got word that the trophies from the previous seasons the trophies are made. And everything's good, but if you have won a championship, whether it was season 10 or last season, if you were waiting on a trophy, he has them for you. but you will have to wait until he gets money to mail them to you. So for me,
Hold tight. Hold tight.
exactly. I've seen mine. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to put it on my desk and look at it every time I'm broadcasting and say, man, that is some trophy that I will never ever get rid of in my entire life. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have won a championship, whether it was season 10 or last season, your trophy is made. It will be shipped to you as soon as Maddie can get it to you. So we are happy that they are made. They are in his possession. Be patient. He will send
And
them.
we definitely want to thank Mustang Makers for getting that done for us. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mustang Makers, for doing that. You know, I know it's been months, but we were worth waiting on it. So, I mean, that's what I've already got covered. But I mean, has anyone else got anything? Because I mean,
I would like to cover something real quick, and actually something that was brought to my attention yesterday and was brought up in our league chat. I want to send our heartfelt condolences to Turnover, who lost a family member over the weekend. Buddy, my heart is with you the whole way. We're all thinking of you. Hopefully you get through this. You know, life, you know, like I also stated in the chat yesterday, guys, I may not look 41, but I am 41. I've lost friends that didn't even make it to 30. So cherish every second of life as much as you can, because you don't know when it's going to be gone.
Absolutely. And Turnover says thank you. And yes, everyone in the Misfits Racing League will be sending our prayers over to you, Turnover, every single day, every single night. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to just say this, that, you know, if you have a family member or a friend, just give them a hug once in a while, you know. They're always going to look out for you, you know. This is how I've said this before in my league, and yet I'm going to say it here, and I really wish this was our motto. Family's first, man. Family always comes first, no matter what. You know, that's the more important. You know, if you miss a race, who cares, man? It's just a stupid video game we've had for 5 goddamn years. It's not going anywhere. Family's more important.
Exactly, and like I stated before, you cannot replace life.
You can't.
You can replace this. You can replace a stinky video game, but you can't replace human life.
You just can't. And I tell you, it's just you just can't, man. I tell you. But again, life cannot. You just can't, man. But again, it is just you just can't. So, again, if you have a family member near you, whether they're in the living room, in the kitchen, near you, like within a driving distance, go give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Say, you know,
it sounds like, it's not even a drive. It could just be a simple text message, a simple phone call.
Exactly, and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, you know, thank you so much for what you've done for me throughout my life, you know. And I'm sure they'll appreciate you and say, hey, you know, thanks for you know, it is appreciative. Everyone is appreciative, and it's just amazing to have a hug is amazing. A family is always going to be there for you, no matter what the case is, you know. They're not going anywhere. I get it, but yet sometimes it's a part of life. Yes, it's going to hurt, but you also got to realize
life moves on. Life.
Yes, and they're going to be with you forever in your heart. I tell you, don't let that give up on you, man. I tell you, so many people will say, you know, you got to move on, but yet again, they're going to be in your heart no matter what. And, you know, yeah, it's going to hurt, but it's just so much. But again, we want to send our condolences to Turnover, and yes, if there was a thing, Turnover, if we could try, I mean, if you want me to, we could try to say a prayer before anything, we can always do that for you, my guy, because everyone will send you their deepest condolences. So, I mean, our prayers, and I think everyone's gonna speak for me on this. We're here for you, each and every one of you in Misfits Racing League. We are all here for you, no matter what the deal is. We are always here to support. So, with that being said, is there anything else I need to cover really quick? Or...
I don't. I think we're good for what we've got for a script for tonight, gentlemen. We definitely want to thank our guests, Gar and Rolling Duck, for being on the show. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. It was good to get some insight from you guys on your seasons. Good luck with you guys down the stretch.
And before I forget, I want to thank our sponsors really quick, Mustang Makers, who provide the most absolute awesomest trophies that I've seen so far of what Maddie sent me. That is absolutely perfect. It is actually so amazing. Printaholics, with all our merchandise, hopefully we can get some more out so we can send them to you and y'all can share the cherished memories and say, hey, this is what I do and this is my group, this is my family right here. Beneath the Oaks podcast, they just released their 65th episode yesterday. Take a listen to them. Whether you're on your way to work, on the way, or if you're working out or whatever, listen to them. They're funny as heck. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Play, and they are just absolutely great. They talk about funny stuff, and they also mention us. We appreciate them so much, and we also want to thank Tonko Prince. Without you sponsors, we are nothing. We are absolutely nothing without you sponsors. We thank y'all so much. It's a blessing. It's a very, very great blessing. So, again, we want to thank those sponsors. Again, like Justin just said, thank you so much, Rolling, for tuning in. For stopping by, giving us your input. And then same thing with Gar. Next week, we will cover Watkins Glen, Indianapolis Oval for Xfinity, and we will finally cover some live flag-to-flag coverage and talk about saying, man, it will be fun to do and talk about last week's events. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our weekly podcast show. I hope you all have a great night. See y'all Wednesday night for the Indianapolis Oval, where the Beneath the Oaks Xfinity Series heads to the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway live. Until then, we'll see you there.
Happy trip!